Hello and hi and welcome back to my channel. I am Sina and you're watching Coffee and True Crime South Africa. And I'm back with another brand new case. Thank you very much to those people that subscribed, and please share my videos with more of your friends so that a lot of other people can subscribe as well. I hope my background is okay and you can't see everything that's going on in my life right now. So anyway, thank you very much for subscribing to my channel, and please, if you're just joining us right now, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell so you can be alerted every single time I post a video. So today's video, I'm going to be talking about another solved true crime case that happened in South Africa. And I'm going to start it the same way I've been starting most of my cases, with the timeline of when the body was found and painting the picture of how the body got there and everything else. So before I get into my video, I just want to send out a brief disclaimer that I do not hope to offend anyone with these videos or trigger anyone or hurt anyone's feelings. I'm just simply doing these videos for documentation purposes. And in the spirit of Women's Month, I'm going to be doing cases that femicide based and crimes against queer people. And actually I started doing this video or this case like days ago, and then I was trying to I shot it and then I was supposed to post it and stuff, but it was so long and processing like a whole 50-minute video was such a problem. So I am going to be making two parts of this video. So this is going to be the first part and I'm going to be doing the next part. I'll just post them like a day after the other was posted. So yes, this is a true crime case of a woman named Frances Rasuge, and she went missing in 2004, and her case was actually fully solved in 2012. So like I said, I'm going to be starting with the timeline. So the timeline does start in 2012 because she disappeared for a really long time. And I remember this case because it was so huge when I was growing up, and every single time there were new updates or new information, the police would sort of like involve the media and alert the media about all the other stuff that was happening. So yes. On the 3rd of March in 2012, a house in an area known as Timber, near the Hammanskraal area in the north of Gauteng, the construction workers that had been working at this newly bought house discovered what looked like skull, bones, and duct tape. And this house was a house that was previously owned by a man who was in prison at this time, and he is William Gadifele Nkuna. And William had lived in this house with his wife and his kids before he was in prison, before he was sent to prison. So William and Frances Rasuge actually met in 1999 in May, and they had been in an on and off relationship. So the timeline of their relationship starts of how things fell apart, I think, start in 2003 on the 31st of December. So on the 31st of December in 2003, Frances and William had been spending the New Year's Eve together until something happened and William beat up Frances, assaulting her and injuring her. And after this, Frances left William and she went back home where she was living with her mother, with her family at the time. And Frances was a 27-year-old police constable who had been in a relationship with William Nkuna, even though William Nkuna was a married man. And William Nkuna has said in some instances that he was in love with Frances and that they were going to get married, and he was going to make Frances his second wife, and I guess it was going to work out altogether. But her family has denied the fact that they knew anything about Frances and William getting married, whether it was then or even having like a marriage in the near future. So after that incident, Frances went back home, and when she got back home, her mother actually testified in court and said that she called William the same day and said that he must stay away from her daughter. And William simply said that He's not going to do that. If anything, he would rather kill Frances and then kill himself before he stayed away from her. And Frances's mother, Caroline, was trying to calm him down and calm the situation down and said, well, what's going to happen to your children if you kill yourself and my child? And William simply said that his wife would take care of his children. And William has always denied that conversation happening. And you can do what you will with that conversation. But after that, Frances had taken steps sort of like to move on with her life and move out of that relationship altogether. That even in March of 2004, Frances had been in a new relationship that her siblings knew about. And this man that she was dating, I will not be mentioning because he's not involved in the whole case. So his only involvement is the fact that he was Frances' boyfriend at that time before she disappeared and before she died. But he was never linked to her disappearance or anything else. So I'm not going to be mentioning his name in the video. So Frances's boyfriend described their relationship as great and as happy and as independent. He said that Frances had the independence and he had his own independence, unlike the relationship that Frances had, I guess, with William Nkuna. And on the 10th of May that same year in 2004, Frances walked into a police station in her neighborhood and reported a case of rape and wanted to get a protection order, and actually got a protection order against William Nkuna. And William Nkuna has denied that whole thing happening. He has denied raping Frances and he has denied receiving a protection order. But a police officer that actually issued him with the protection order said that he did take the protection order to him. And William said that the rape did not happen. People were getting into Frances's ear and trying to destroy his reputation and their relationship. And even at that point, William was still trying to get back with Frances, even though Frances had moved on with her life and she was dating a new man. But 10 days after that, Frances went back to the police station and actually dropped the charges of the rape and also dropped the protection order. And something also happened in July of 2004. Frances's family had a funeral, and so Frances was helping out, sort of like organize the funeral and stuff. And she actually borrowed William Nkuna's car. And this is something that I guess is kind of strange to me. But anyway, also after July and August, in the beginning of August, just weeks before she went missing, Frances actually needed a lift to go to a course in Pretoria in the city. And she actually asked William if William can drop her off at the place. But before she left with William, she asked two of his siblings if they would accompany her because she did not feel safe in William's presence alone. But William has denied that happening. He said that, yes, the trip did happen, but everything that her siblings said, that she was afraid of him, is absolute rubbish. They were just bored. They didn't have anything to do. They just wanted a free trip. So I don't know, do what you will with that. But Frances was still very much involved with her boyfriend because on the 25th of August 2004, just 2 days before she went missing, Frances walked into a local furniture store and bought her boyfriend 2 new items to surprise him with. And this is actually something that happened because the neighbor did say that she signed off for the delivery of the products because Frances and her boyfriend were both not home at that time. And the following day, Frances went to her boyfriend's place to see if her boyfriend had received the gifts that she had got for him. And indeed, he had received the gifts, and they were also actually making plans for the weekend because Frances's boyfriend's family had a funeral in another town, and they were actually going to go to the funeral. But before they went to the funeral, Frances was going to do her hair. And she was going to do her hair on the 27th of August. So Frances went back home, and the 27th came, and she was going to go do her hair. But before she left to go do her hair, she realized that her phone was flat. The battery of her phone was flat. And she asked her brother if he could borrow him the phone and charge Frances's phone, and she will be back to return his phone and take hers before she went to see her boyfriend so that they could go to the funeral, to the boyfriend's family funeral. So the exchange of the phones happened, and Frances went to get her hair done, and she went to a salon that she frequented a lot. This salon was named La Dea Hair Salon, and it was owned by a man known as Desmond Mkondo. And Desmond Mkondo had been a longtime hairstylist of Frances, and he usually did her hair all the time. Frances was a client of his, and they had a nice relationship. Desmond actually described Frances as a nice, pleasant lady who's just always keeping to herself, who never engaged in salon gossip like most people do. She was just like always, minding her own business. But that day, Desmond says that Frances did actually tell him that she was going to be going to a funeral with her boyfriend. And so Desmond did Frances's hair and finished doing her hair. And when he was done, he said that Frances said that somebody would be coming to settle the bill. And that person did come to settle the bill. And Frances left with this person, never to be seen again. So on the same day, later on in the day, Frances's boyfriend was trying to get a hold of Frances and I guess find out where she was and if she was still coming. But this phone that Frances had been using, her brother's phone, was switched off at this point, so he couldn't get a hold of her. But he eventually found a way to contact Frances's family, and when he called them, he asked if Frances was there and if she was still coming, and her family told him that they thought that he might have an idea where she was because she hasn't come home since she went to the salon to get her hair done. And then Frances' boyfriend did say that it's fine. He would like them to let her know that he was looking for her, but he is going to be going to the funeral because his family is expecting him to show up for the funeral. So that was that with Frances's boyfriend. And on the 28th of August 2004, Frances did not come back home again. And her family was still hopeful at this point that she might show up, she might turn up at some point, but she didn't. And on the 29th of August, the Sunday, Frances was supposed to actually be working that night, and her squad team came to pick her up for their shift. And when they got home to pick her up, they found that she was not there. And that's when they were like, Frances doesn't do stuff like this. And even her family did say that and on the 29th, when her squad came to pick her up and she wasn't there, that's when panic set in for a lot of the people that were involved, like her family and even her squad, because she was never somebody that missed work without giving a notice that she would not be available and making sure that there was somebody else who could do the shift for her. So at this point, her squad team were like, you know what, we need to find out what happened to her. So they went into the house, and Frances's dad actually called William and asked him if he knew anything about Frances's whereabouts. And William said that he had not seen Frances since the Friday, the 27th, when he was at the salon with her. And after that conversation with William, the police and Frances's family decided to open a case of a missing persons. So the first person they spoke to at this point was Desmond Mkondo, because he was the last person to see her alive. So they went to the salon to speak to Desmond Mkondo, and Desmond did say that, yes, Frances was actually here at the salon and I did her hair. And then when I was done, she told me that somebody would be here to settle the bill, and somebody did come to settle the bill. And the person that came to settle the bill was William Nkuna. And Desmond knew William Nkuna because they lived in the same community in Temba. His salon was in Temba. William lived in Temba. So he was like, yeah, I know who definitely picked her up. It was William Nkuna. And even though William Nkuna was a feared member of the community, Desmond just openly told the police that it was William who had picked Francis up from the salon. So that is where I'm going to leave it with this, and this is the end of part one. So from part two, I'm going to continue from there and sort of like tell you the tale of the case and everything else. So thank you very much for watching part one, and please, if you haven't subscribed, liked, please like and subscribe and leave a comment. And I think there's something wrong with my comments, so I'm going to check it when I upload this video later on today. So thank you very much. I am Edward Sina, and you've been watching Coffee and True Crime. Please be on the lookout for part two of this video. So peace.